Hey guys, this is Rick from Rick's Review. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Wanted to give you an update. I've been really busy, changed job, did this and that. And well, hey, I got a review for Google Fiber. And I know you've seen a lot about Google Fiber and you probably heard a lot about Google Fiber, but I want to give you my personal experiences. As always, say, give me that thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this video or you get any helpful information from any of the videos that I make, please subscribe. It really helps my channel and helps me get the word out there and pay some bills. So I'll see you in this episode. Okay, so what I did was I actually had a pretty fast computer, faster than most people's computers. It's a gaming rig. I used to build gaming rigs for people, so I'm just kind of stuck in that mode. And even though I don't really game much, right? So I had a pretty fast computer. I hooked up a card, which was a 10, 100, 1000, 2.5 gig card, right? So it's going to be plenty fast to be able to absorb the download speeds that I'm getting from Google Fiber. And Google Fiber, the plan that I'm on is a 2 gig download, 1 gig upload. I was with Spectrum here in San Antonio, Texas. And Spectrum, the best they give you on the plan that I had at that time was 200 megabits. I think they've gone up a little bit now to 500 megabits or 400 megabits, right? Um, well, the Google Fiber, instead of 400 megabits, I would be 2,000 megabits or 2 gig, right? So yeah, it's a huge difference. Now, if you have an older card and everything in line. So if you have an older, say, router, and that router is a 10-100 router, or even a 10-100 1000 router, meaning the highest speed was 1000 gig or 1 gig or 1000 megabits per second. It's not going to be fast enough to give you that 2 gig speed. Now, if you're looking for that 2 gig speed because that's your plan, you need to upgrade that router. Or a switch, which is up here as well, or anything you have connected to it. So if you're using a Cat 5, for example, which is the oldest one pretty much that we have nowadays, if you're using a Cat 5, if it's an older apartment or an older house and they actually have Cat 5 in it, it's the bandwidth is not going to be there. It's going to be too slow. You need Cat 5e at least in order to get there. Now, everything I have in line here is Cat 7, which is a whole lot faster, better bandwidth mostly, right? For longer runs and everything like that. I'm out here in the studio, which is about 35 feet from the actual gateway that came in from Google Fiber. And let me show you a couple of things. Let me show you the gateway here. Now, if you see on the gateway, you have the 4 yellow plugs, you have the red plug, and then you have that silver plug. The silver plug is the only plug that allows you to get 2 gig plus per second, right? Well, I hooked up to the 2 gig. I ran Cat 7 out here underground to the studio, and I was running to that computer, which I'm telling you about. It just so happened about that same time that I was going to make a video for you guys that computer got hit by lightning and got destroyed. Now it was about 2.5, 3 weeks. It was about 3 weeks ago. It got destroyed. So I built a new one. Now on this new computer I built, the actual motherboard has a 2.5 gig card built into it. So I can get the full speed of the download. So I tried the download through the router, of course, and I couldn't get over 1,000. So I took a look at the router, and the router was a 10, 100, 1000 router, which is, they still sell them, but it's just not fast enough for my needs. So I unplugged from the router and ran it directly to the computer, and voila, I'm getting 2 gig download, 2 gig download, 1 gig upload, as opposed to through the router, I was getting one down, one up. And I got to tell you, um, since this is Rick's review, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience with Google Fiber. I have not had problem one. It's never dropped out on me. It's been great. Spectrum was pretty darn good, but every now and then I'd get dropped internet signal from Spectrum. With Google, I have not. Now, of course, we haven't had any big storms here. We haven't had, anything that would possibly be a good power outage that would make Google go down. And I'm going to review this again in about 6 months. I'm going to come back and let you guys know what I found. But so far, I got to tell you, I have not had a problem with Google Fiber. I ran an Ethernet cord from the gateway where it's at to the router in the house. And that router's a 10, 100, 1000. So I had two routers, one out here and one in there. And it worked great. 1000 is all I could get from the yellow plugs anyway, right? And so it worked great. Problem is, I didn't want to broadcast my SSID. So I went in there and I shut off my SSID. But it just, hey, I realized when I was editing this, not everybody knows what SSID. SSID is the name when you go on your cell phone or your tablet or your laptop. It actually comes up as a name of the Wi-Fi that you can connect to. It's called the SSID. Didn't satisfy me, shutting it off. So I disconnected the router and I hooked up a switch, which is a 10, 100, 1000 switch, which is right here. So I hooked up that switch, and after everything got set in stone, it's good to go. Everything's great. So I got to tell you, I am liking Google Fiber down here in San Antonio, Texas. So if you have Google Fiber and you have the ability to get the 2 gig plan, get on a 2 gig plan. It is well worth it. It's not much more than the 1 gig plan, but oh my goodness, it's fast. The reason why I went to it, surprisingly enough, has nothing to do with the speed. The reason why I went to it was simply because it saves me money over Spectrum. It saves me about $70 a month over Spectrum. That's a big deal. But Spectrum was giving me 200 megabits per second at about $70 a month, more than I'm paying here for the modem here and the modem in the main house, right? But I using just the gateway from Google Fiber, and I ran a Cat 7 out here underground Berry, and saving $70 a month, and I am about 10 times faster. So hey, and I'm saving money, right? That's what it's all about. So this is Rick from Rick's Review. Remember, if I can save you a few bucks, I will save you a few bucks, and I'll see you on the next one.